Hello everyone, this is GW7 Football and we're back for Game Week 7 and my name is Migs and I'm here with FPL Rich and we're just going to be going over what we did for our wild card, how we performed this last Game Week 6. We're going to be going over a new section which is just going over some star players that have performed very well this last game week, and let's just say Palmer is ice cold. We're also going to be talking about our team selections for this week and if we're going to be doing any transfers for this week. So please join us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's first look into my game week 6 performance. I managed to hit 49 points in a week of bad weeks. I also did pretty bad. I managed to, especially this is on, we're recording this on Monday. So right after the Bournemouth game where Semenyo did perform pretty well. So my rank did go down. So yeah, I mean, let's take a look into some of my players. Overall, the defense, no one kept a clean sheet. I'm not too sure if any teams this week kept any clean sheets, but yeah, in terms of my team, no one kept a clean sheet. Looking into my midfield, Saka did get his 2 bonus points that he did have. So he was on 5 points. They did take away those 2 bonus points, and now he's on 3. Pretty unfortunate. In terms of Mbuemo did pretty well this week. He did score. And Rodgers as well. Pretty much every single one of my midfielders did perform. Rodgers and Salah both scored. Looking into my strikers, the only one that performed out of the 3 was Raul Jimenez with a penalty goal, and Holland did blank against Newcastle. A bit unfortunate. I did have McNeil on my bench. If I did play McNeil, I definitely would have had a pretty good green arrow. But overall, my team does not look that bad. Especially after my wild card, I'm pretty content with how my team looks.
All right, so now going on to what I did for Game Week 6. Right after a wild card, we're not doing very well. We did 50 points. We did go a little bit down in rank, still in the 3 millions. But some things to point out here: Maserati, he did get a yellow card in that loss against Tottenham, in which he got 0 points, and Manchester United didn't really do much. Our back line with Alexander Arnold and Gabriel only got 1 point. Luis Diaz did not really do much. He did get subbed out pretty early. So we're expecting a little bit more next game week, but he only did perform. He only got 2 points this game week. And then Mbuemo with a goal, 9 points. Saka with only 3. A little unfortunate. He got his points taken away. But a player, Dwight McNeil, player that I was not expecting as much from him. He's the player that really, I would say, shined along with Palmer this week. He did get 2 goals, so 15 points. And then our forwards, Ollie Watkins, goal and an assist and 11 points. And Danny Welbeck did not do much, only 2 points, as well as Holland with the captaincy, only 4 points.
All right, so as we stated, we're going to look into some of the star players from game week 6. I usually try to put in a new section every week, depending on what kind of comes up, just to keep the videos fresh. But yeah, let's first look into some of the best players. I also try to pick only one player from each team. I know in terms of Arsenal, Havertz also did pretty well, but Martinelli was the star player from Arsenal or that game, so that's why I have Martinelli on this list. But our first 4 is Gvardiol, Martinelli, Palmer, and Mbuemo. And in terms of Gvardiol was on our team, or was in our team selection before the wild card. We did wild card him out. He also did drop in price, but he's probably going to go back up with that goal that he did score. But yeah, I mean, Man City have very good fixtures going forward, and if you are in a wild card game for game week 7, Gvardiol is definitely a good shout. Moving on to Martinelli, as I talked about before, Martinelli did perform very well, and with that pretty cheap price point at 6.9. Another player to give a shout out here for the Arsenal squad is definitely a Trossard. Trossard also did very well, but I mean they're both priced at the same. They're both valued at the same price. But overall, I think Martinelli is probably a better pick. Who knows? It all depends on the minutes. Now moving on to the star player of the whole week is Cole Palmer. He did go up in price to 10.7 million. But Cole Palmer as well was in our squad for last week, so I'm pretty curious if we would have probably outscored our wild card if we didn't wild card this week, but who knows. Yeah, 25 points. He did get the 3 bonus points, I believe, as well. And overall, moving forward, for me, Palmer, I think he's definitely a very good midfield option. I think he's one of those that can definitely go head to head for a Salah, and even with the Holland, because he's one of those players that can always get one of those random hat tricks or get one of those big scoring points in a game week. And moving on to our last pick here, we have Mbeumo, which is at 7.4. He also went up from the weekend's games. He did perform pretty well, scoring a goal, scoring 9 points. Now let's move on to the next 4 on our list.
Yeah, so now moving on to the next 4 players, we have Ollie Watkins, McNeil, Mohamed Salah, and Raul. Ollie Watkins at 9 million with 11 points this game week. As I said before, a goal and assist, a player in which I dropped Palmer for Ollie Watkins, but this is a player that's really been contributing to his team, and I am expecting that going forward with some very good fixtures. And then we also have Dwight McNeil with 15 points at 5.5, a player who has good fixtures, and hoping that Everton will be able to, with some of those good fixtures, be able to take some wins, and also Dwight McNeil get some good points in there. And then we have Mohamed Salah, a player that FPL Rich has, and has built the template in which he has Holland and Salah, a player in which last game he did get a goal, a penalty taker, and definitely a player who is playing 90 minutes every game and is a big threat. I would say definitely a player that could also get big points like Cole Palmer and Erling Haaland. And then going on to Raul Jimenez, along with McNeil and Raul Jimenez, these are very cheap options to have. Raul Jimenez has been scoring as of late, has been on fire. He does have a tough fixture against Man City next game week, but there's still potential for him to continue that streak of goals. And like I said, definitely a good player to put him on your team with a lower budget.
So let's move on to our Game Week 7 transfer plan. I do have 0.1 in the bank with 2 free transfers leading up to that wild card. I did kind of try to keep 1 free transfer in there so I could have 2 for this week. But it turns out that I don't really, looking at my team, I don't really see any faults or any major players that I don't want to have for next week. So for me, I'm rolling the transfer. As I said, I do have 2 free transfers. This is a great option to kind of keep going and gather more free transfers. So moving on to next week, if something does happen, I'll have 3 free transfers. For example, if Palmer does continue to score and outshine some of these players, I'll definitely move into Cole Palmer for next week. Maybe for a Saka, moving from a Saka to a Palmer, and maybe from a Rogers to a Winks could be a good way to move into Cole Palmer. But for right now, I'm going to be rolling the transfer. And this is how my Game Week 7 team selection is going to look like. I'm lining up with a 3-5-2 with 0.1 in the bank. I do have Raya as my starting goalkeeper, Collins, Gabriel, and Aina, and my back 3. Hopefully the double Arsenal defense does do me justice this week. They did not manage to keep a clean sheet last week against Leicester. Hopefully against Southampton, especially against Southampton's poor performance today, hopefully they can keep a clean sheet. But now moving on to my midfield, I do have Saka, Mbeumo, McNeil, Mo Salah, and Rogers. I did make that mistake of having McNeil on my bench last week, so definitely having him in my midfield for this week. In terms of my strikers, I do have Calvert-Lewin and Holland. I'm a bit 50-50 on Calvert-Lewin, whether or not I want to put him on the bench over Raul Jimenez, just because Raul Jimenez is on a scoring streak, and if someone's going to score against Man City, it's probably going to be Raul Jimenez, as we talked about before. He is on penalties, and usually Man City also kind of drop a goal or two always, but they always manage to win. But yeah, my captaincy also is on Holland. He did blank last week against Newcastle, but hopefully against Fulham at home, he does go into his scoring ways. In terms of my vice captaincy, it is currently on Saka with his Southampton at home fixture. But I might move into Mo Salah against Crystal Palace. I do believe that's also a good fixture for Liverpool. But yeah, this is how my team is lining up for game week 7.
Now going on to my transfer plan for game week 7, coming off of a wild card in game week 6. I only do have one free transfer. Before the wild card, I did use a transfer from Joao Pedro to Vardy, which did not turn out that good. I honestly should have kept that transfer, but we only have one transfer right now. And honestly, just with the wild card, I think my intentions are of just racking up some free transfers. And saying that, I am going to be rolling this transfer. I do like my team, and I think I could roll for this week. So let's go on to my starting lineup. Going on to my starting lineup, I do have Sells in goal, Alexander Arnold, Gabriel, and Van Berg. A midfield of 4 with McNeil, Luis Diaz, Mbuemo, Saka, and 3 forwards up top with Ollie Watkins, Welbeck, and Holland. And I still do have 0.7 million in the bank, so a good chunk of money. But just some things to point out here. We do have good fixtures with Arsenal going up against Southampton. I am expecting a clean sheet in there for Gabriel, and I do have my captaincy in on Saka, as I am going big with that those points. Expecting big from Saka, and then also Brentford does have a good fixture at home against Wolverhampton, so I do have Van Bergen there. And then Alexander Arnold, along with Saka, I am going to be keeping my eyes on them, as these players last game week did not perform all that well, and they are very pricey players. So I do think that there are some other options, as y'all saw with Guardiola and Palmer. They did do very well, so definitely an option if these players don't perform well. It's an option that I'm going to be keeping. And then I am also another player, I guess you could say, is Luis Diaz, who didn't perform all that well, and is on, I guess you could say, borrowed time, as we were expecting this for us that got Luis Diaz. We were expecting that he was going to be subbed out, but against this Crystal Palace, let's hope he does perform. And then my forwards, I do have Welbeck in my starting lineup, but this is a player. He is last game week. His team did get smashed up against that Chelsea team, and now going up against Tottenham at home is going to be a tough game as well. And last game, Danny Welbeck didn't really do much, so this is a player that I might not be subbing out last minute for like a Greaves or a Winks that may have a better fixture. But this is my lineup for this week, and let's hope for the best.
But that is all for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you all next week for Game Week 8 team selection.